Hi, I'm Mark Toole with 8020service.com. Today's customer service video question of the day comes from Quora. The question is, when will technology replace the call center business? Okay. Well, there's only one answer at the time. And again, this question is from Quora. One answer on Quora so far. This guy wrote, I assume they mean when will technology replace humans in the call center business? And then he answers based on that, talking about DTFM signaling, CPU power, VXML code standards. Not what I'm talking about at all. I'm gonna not make the assumption that this guy did. He's assuming that the call center business, the fact that if you need help with a product or service, you're gonna have to pick up a telephone and dial a number. Yes, I'm doing it the old-fashioned way because that's how old-fashioned this idea is. Wait on hold, talk to a VTXL CPU power system or whatever the hell you're talking about there, and try to get problems resolved using your voice on a telephone. He assumes that's inevitable and then talks about the technology where computers can replace the low-paid human NPCs working in these jobs. I'm not going to make that assumption. I'm going to answer the question as asked, when will technology replace the call center business? Not the human in the call center business, replacing it with a voice recording, but replace the call center business, period. My answer is, at least for intelligent businesses who want this to happen, it has already happened. Technology, depending how you define technology, has made it so that having a call center for your business is no longer necessary. In many cases, it's just a bad idea and a waste of resources. What kind of technology am I talking about? Am I talking about advanced AI and voice simulations and CPU power and VXML standards and IVR and CTI and DTFM? No, I'm not talking about any kind of acronyms, really. I guess technically this was an acronym at some point, but I'm talking about technologies. These are all actually acronyms, like the FAQ page, the email. This one isn't an acronym. The live chat pop-up on a website. And then, of course, the original killer technology, the human brain. What do I mean by that? Okay, so first of all, email, pretty self-explanatory. I have a question or a product or an issue with a company or a product or a service. I send them an email. If the company's intelligent and does things right, and you're probably thinking, no, don't send an email. It'll just disappear into hell somewhere and no one will ever reply, and you'll get a reply 3 weeks later that says, hi, we got your email, please call us. That's happened to me multiple times with businesses. I know where you're coming from with this. I'm talking about email combined with that last one I mentioned, a human brain. The idea that if a customer sends you an email, you have a person who receives that email, reads it, answers the questions, fixes the issues that the customer is asking about, and then replies to the customer telling them that this has happened. Not email the way these conventional businesses, the kind that like to rely on call centers, do it, where they just sort of ignore it because it's a hassle and like, oh, okay, he's asking a thing, I'm not going to respond to that. That's not what I'm talking about. But email used correctly is a technology that easily replaces the call center 99% of the time in regular business inquiries from customers, questions, requests, etc. The reason people might prefer a phone over email is what I mentioned, the way most companies treat email. They ignore it. Phone, the customer who's angry that his email was ignored, gets to call, and there's a person there that he can scream at and say, listen, you answer me right now, you're ignoring my email. He feels better about himself. So that's not a reason to not use email. That's a reason to not do email terribly. Really, it's a reason not to have the call center, because you do the email right. People who otherwise would call and scream and yell will send a civilized email and get their thing taken care of. If you're in a kind of business where any of these requests are urgent or immediate, and I don't mean urgent, like something like 911, someone's breaking into my house with a gun, yeah, that should probably be a phone call. But something like, I signed up for this webinar and I haven't gotten my login information yet, help me out here. No one needs to call on a phone for that. You can send an email. If the thing's coming up, that's when you and people want to ask a question, get it answered quickly, that's when you add some sort of a live chat feature. I'm not going to go into plugins or anything like that. I'm sure the army of spammers will show up, especially on Quora, to answer these kinds of questions with blatant spam for whatever product they sell. So we'll leave that for them. But there are many, many plugins where you can set up a live chat thing with a human being behind it, not some sort of weird AI technology that tries to pretend to be a human being. Or I mean, there is that too, but I'm not recommending that. You set that up. Now, I also mentioned something called the FAQ, Frequently Asked Questions page. That's one example, but really it's a broader concept than that I recommend, combined with that last one, the human brain, to not have a call center person handle customer complaints, not have an email person handle customer complaints, or a live chat person. Instead, to simply anticipate and prevent as much as possible the customer complaint from ever happening, the question, the problem, the request, whatever it is. You can do that by fixing problems before they happen. You can do that by making information more clear using something like an FAQ page or other methods. You can do that by... I lost my train of thought there. Well, you can do that a lot of different ways, but the point is, prevention of these problems is always better. Oh, that's what I was going to say. You can do that by having options on the website where the customer can do simple things for themselves. I hate when a business makes me pick up a phone and call somebody and say, hey, I need help with this thing. Can you do this for me? When it's something simple that I should just be able to click a box on the website, and then they make me call. I send an email and they don't reply. They don't have a live chat thing. I got to pick up a phone, waste my time. No. Prevention, and then basic existing contact technologies, email, live chat. Live chat can take the form of something like Facebook Messenger if that's something you use in your business. Other chat platforms like Discord, which a company I'm working with now uses for delivery of trading signals. Or it could be the little pop-up thing on your website, whatever plugin you want to use for that, SMS messaging. I consider all those to be a form of live chat, whatever you want to call it, whatever technology, it doesn't matter. Email is email, and FAQ, prevention, thinking things through from the customer perspective, fixing problems rather than handling them. And a good way to do this is figure out what your customer service people spend the most time helping customers with, and figure out a way to make that not happen anymore. So that's a good place to start if you don't know what to fix or what to prevent. What are they spending all their time on? How can customers do this themselves instead? That's my answer to this. When will technology replace the call center business? There are probably always going to be call centers. There are probably always going to be call centers staffed by human beings. Most of those human beings will be in what I call the NPC role, the non-player character, just following scripts, following programming, doing as they're told. Thank you for calling company's name, Mr. Customer's name. I will help you, but can you verify some things with me now, sir? That will always be there. They're old-fashioned, conventional businesses that think that's the way to go. They think that's what customers want. There's probably customers out there that think that's what they want. I'd argue that that's not really what they want. They really want just a proper resolution to their problem, and what they really want is for the problem never to happen at all. But those things will continue to exist for the foreseeable future. There will also be more of, and another thing that will continue to exist, probably replacing some of the human-based ones, are going to be call centers filled with computers and voice recognition technology and all this thing, so that customers, instead of pressing 47 for English and waiting on hold, can say, English, English, and then it says, I'm sorry, I don't understand you, sir. And then when it finally figures out what you're trying to say, then it plays a recording. Let me look that up for you. It plays a sound of some typing so you think that it's a person, even though when you talk to a person, he's not holding the phone up to his keyboard. So there are people who think that stuff's a good idea. They think that building a machine that tries to pretend to be a minimum wage employee and does an even worse job of answering questions according to the same scripts and programming that person can interpret a little bit better than the machine is a good idea. I guess they like this because they don't have to time its piss breaks. They don't have to worry about it losing its mind and going on a killing spree in the break room one day. It just sits there and it churns out repetitively bad customer service responses all day long. And they think that's good enough. So that's going to continue. There's going to be advances in the technology on that. There's going to be advances in the stupidity of that. Let me look that up for you. They'll make a more realistic voice to try to trick you into thinking that it's a person, and then it'll get caught in the loop somewhere because it's an NPC, just like the human NPC, and you'll get mad, and they'll still have a few human NPCs to handle it when you get mad at the computerized one. These things are going to continue to exist. They're not going to go away. That's because businesses choose to continue to have these things. They choose to continue to operate in an old-fashioned industrial era model of customer service, of business, of customer satisfaction, of customer retention, all of these things. They're going to keep doing it like they've been doing it for 100 years, only worse because they're trying to do it cheap now. And the results are going to be mediocre at best, and they're going to think that's okay. I think the next economic decline, whatever you want to call it, most likely coming soon according to all experts, is going to have a major effect on this sort of thing. These businesses that think that they can just coast by with bad customer service, bad customer experience by making customers go through customer service for things, and then that customer service is also bad, they're going to feel the pain when things get worse in the economy and customers have less money to spend. They're going to spend it where they have a good experience, not a mediocre or bad experience. And they're going to scramble. They're going to try to catch up when this happens. That's why I get ahead of this. The businesses I work with, we do this right from the beginning. I help businesses get this stuff right, and there's no downside in doing it right now. Yes, you probably could, depending what business you're in, get away with treating your customers like shit. You could probably get away with scamming them out of their money, giving them a bad quality product, and then ignoring them when they complain about it. Just find someone else to replace them if or when they eventually quit. If it's something they can quit. Nobody's quitting Comcast Internet. It's the only option in many places, for example. But you could probably coast by doing the conventional thing poorly for a while. Things are going to change, and it'll be interesting to see what happens to those businesses when they do, but it'll be even more interesting to see what happens to the businesses I work with, the ones who are getting it right now. So I'm going to wrap this video up here. As always, if you thought this was interesting, useful, valuable, upvote, like, thumbs up, whatever platform you're watching these on. Like I said, I post these on YouTube and Quora now. If you have a question for me, ask me on Quora, ask me in the comments on YouTube. I'll pick a good one to answer. I do one of these videos every weekday on a customer service topic. I also write regularly on business and customer service, both on my website, 8020service.com, and on Quora with some of the questions there where I'll answer in a written format. So check both of those things out. Otherwise, I will be back tomorrow with another video.